Greetings, programs. Welcome to Rationality, From AI to Zombies, Chapter 36, The Futility of Emergence. The failures of phlogiston and vitalism are historical hindsight. Dare I step out on a limb and name some current theory which I deem analogously flawed? I name emergence, or emergent phenomena, usually defined as a study of systems whose high-level behaviors arise, or emerge, from the interaction of many low-level elements. From Wikipedia, the way complex systems and patterns arise out of a multiplicity of relatively simple interactions. End quote. Taken literally, that description fits every phenomenon in our universe above the level of individual quarks, which is part of the problem. Imagine pointing to a market crash and saying, "It's not a quark." Does that feel like an explanation? No. Then neither should saying, "It's an emergent phenomenon." It's the noun, emergence, that I protest, rather than the verb emerges from. There's nothing wrong with saying X emerges from Y, where Y is some specific detailed model with internal moving parts. Arises from is another legitimate phrase that means exactly the same thing. Gravity arises from the curvature of spacetime, according to the specific mathematical model of general relativity. Chemistry arises from interactions between atoms, according to the specific model of quantum electrodynamics. Now, suppose I should say that gravity is explained by arisings, or that chemistry is an arising phenomenon, and claim that as my explanation. The phrase emerges from is acceptable, just like arises from or is caused by are acceptable, if the phrase precedes some specific model to be judged on its own merits. However, this is not the way emergence is commonly used. Emergence is commonly used as an explanation in its own right. I have lost track of how many times I've heard people say intelligence is an emergent phenomenon, as if that explained intelligence. The usage fits all the checklist items for a mysterious answer to a mysterious question. What do you know after you have said that intelligence is emergent? You can make no new predictions. You do not know anything about the behavior of real-world minds that you did not know before. It feels like you believe a new fact, but you don't anticipate any different outcomes. Your curiosity feels sated, but it has not been fed. The hypothesis has no moving parts. There is no detailed internal model to manipulate. Those who proffer the hypothesis of emergence confess their ignorance of the internals and take pride in it. They contrast the science of emergence to other sciences merely mundane. And even after the answer of why emergence is given, the phenomenon is still a mystery, and possesses the same sacred impenetrability it had at the start. Fun exercise is to eliminate the adjective emergent from any sentence in which it appears, and see if the sentence says anything different. For example, human intelligence is an emergent product of neurons firing. After example, human intelligence is a product of neurons firing. Before, the behavior of the ant colony is the emergent outcome of the interactions of many individual ants. Afterwards, the behavior of the ant colony is the outcome of the interactions of many individual ants. Even better, a colony is made of ants. We can successfully predict some aspects of colony behavior using models that include only individual ants without any global colony variables, showing that we understand how those colony variables arise from ant behaviors. Another fun exercise is to replace the word emergent with the old word, the explanation that people had to use before emergence was invented. Before, life is an emergent phenomenon. Afterwards, life is a magical phenomenon. Before, human intelligence is an emergent product of neurons firing. Afterwards, human intelligence is a magical product of neurons firing. Does not each statement convey exactly the same amount of knowledge about the phenomenon's behavior? Does not each hypothesis fit exactly the same set of outcomes? Emergence has become very popular, just as saying magic used to be very popular. Emergence has the same deep appeal to human psychology for the same reason. Emergence is such a wonderfully easy explanation, and it feels good to say it. It gives you a sacred mystery to worship. Emergence is popular because it's the junk food of curiosity. You can explain anything using emergence. And so people do just that. For it feels so wonderful to explain things. Humans are still humans, even if they've taken a few science classes in college. Once they find a way to escape the shackles of settled science, they get up to the same shenanigans as their ancestors, dressed up in the literary genre of science. But humans are still humans, and human psychology is still human psychology. Here ends chapter 36. Now for my thoughts. Well, here's where my personal experiences put me at odds with the author for a change. See, my understanding of emergence is a bit different from his. My understanding of emergence, which may be the wrong understanding of the word emergence, was that emergence was a as yet unexplained phenomenon generated by complex interactions of smaller, simpler parts. So like the ant colony, for example. We don't know what exactly it is about the incredibly numerous and chaotic chunks of interaction between millions of little ants that does it, but we do know it's not some magical outside controlling force, for example. So emergence to me means it's something to do with the complex interactions, and we don't know exactly what yet. So to me, emergence was an admission that we don't know what it is, but it's some function of complicated interactions on a low level, even if we don't know it yet. If it was understood, then it would go along the lines of, it's an emergent phenomena that blah blah blah, and here follows the model. So for me, it was a little different. It was an admission of incomplete knowledge, but not an admission of failure. So there you go. Those are my thoughts. Not much for today. On to the next one. Bye for now.